Welcome to Dave and Michael Paul. If you have a comment, you can call us now at 261-0898 or pound 981 on any ceasefire device. Our email is newsradiomornings@gmail.com.
Please don't go. 716. I have a comment. I need me some Gene Valentino.
Hey, good morning, Gene. He's with us. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. What a great morning.
Yeah, it's actually a very nice morning here. How's the weather in Pensacola?
We're doing well. 73 degrees, mostly clear. We're going to enjoy our time with you this morning, and then I have plans to take off on the water in the backyard here in Perdido Bay and cruise the Gulf Coast.
All right. Well, that's awesome. So, Gene, a lot of stuff going on. First, I guess Kevin McCarthy's having some trouble with your congressman there, Matt Gaetz, who says he's going to get him. I don't know if you want to talk about your congressman or not. We don't have to, but, it seems like Matt Gaetz wants to be speaker.
Yeah, I think he does, but I don't think he will. I think he has sights now on the potential governorship of Florida. I think he's waiting in the wings to see what Mr. DeSantis does. I appreciate his aggressive attitude and conservatism, but there comes time when we need more team play. And I'm more concerned not about an individual like him within a party. I'm concerned about a movement of a party. And Michael, right now, the Democrat Party is anti-American, and I've never said that before.
There's doubt.
Authoritarianism dressed up as democracy. They're rewriting all these political issues for political purposes. They're trying to change the election procedures to ensure Democrat advantage. The control over language and thought processes and how we refer to he and she and other genders. And I'm getting cuckoo here. My wife has a word for this. She sends me to a proctologist to get my head examined.
Well, it is true, though. I mean, they want to change the language. They want you to learn, 30 different pronouns for, 72 different types of people this LGBTQ plus whatever they can come up with. You got the crazies running the asylum is basically what's going on in Washington, D.C.
You mentioned Matt Gaetz. Whether it's Matt Gaetz or the Republican Party, they're not trying to set into motion state-controlled media. They're not trying to legalize this repressive behavior, whether it's from the media or any other institution. But they are creating intimidation, aren't they? And who am I talking about? The Democrat Party. They're trying to create enemies of the people. They're trying to destroy the traditions and customs that we've been born and raised with in a civil society, in taking down statues, for example. Why, they're even trying to cut down capitalism as you and I know it, the incentives to get back out there and work and make a buck and be independent and free. I'm watching the news this morning, and they have to, the woke generation is having a wake-up call, and they're beginning to see, hey, what am I going to pay these outrageous prices for 4 years of education in college for? I'll move more toward a trade. And trades are coming back like never before in secondary education and college level education, trade programs that create subject matter expertise for these young folks trying to find their way in a new society. I'll tell you what the Republicans aren't doing. They're not supporting racism, anti-Semitism, and this group think, and they're not attacking the status quo. The Republican is saying, I'm going to give you the liberty and freedom to figure out your path. The Democrats are saying, I'm going to control your path and do as I say, not as I do. And don't worry about what I'm doing and what I'm making and my level of life. you just get used to being happy with, we've used it in the past, this mass formation psychosis that's taking over society from the Democrat Party. If the Americans don't realize that we need to get rid of the Democrat Party as they have crafted themselves to be, and to create a new Democrat Party, then we will have a problem if the Democrats win the next election, Biden or no Biden. There's a culture out there that's far-reaching beyond Biden. It's called the deep state. It's been around for decades, if not centuries. But we need to nail it in the buds, and the Republicans need to wake up and kick ass with what's going on over there. And this is where Matt Gaetz gets my support, because he sees this corrupt profile occurring nationwide. And serious action is sort of greeted with a sense of skepticism, and that's what we're seeing with him right now.
Well, I think the problem is that it appears that there's a few people, and I mean, it's literally like 4 or 5 people in Washington that are causing the Republicans to not be able to get their conference together and to be able to get things passed. And so he looks like an obstructionist, but when you understand, that somebody, I guess, has got to eventually stand up and say, look, no more of this. Let's get ourselves on the right track so that we can, promote the values and ideals that the Republican Party stands for.
Yeah. Yeah. And back to those values you first mentioned, I think Congress in general is going to put a wake-up call to Mr. Zelensky. There are many, including some senators, that would love to see the funding go forward with Ukraine. And I see the bigger picture regarding the China Straits and everything else. But
hold on a second. When he got up at the United Nations and started talking about climate change, he totally lost me for sure. I was questionable before that. I was trying to figure out, do I support this? Do I not? When he got up and started talking about how we got to do things, when he's getting his brains bombed out in Ukraine, I knew right then this guy's playing a little game.
Yeah. Yeah. We failure to defend the rights of others may someday result in your rights and my rights not being defended, is what I've said. But hey, folks, America first right now. Another $300 and something million on the table to vote for Ukraine, and you can't spend me a few bucks to finish this border wall? I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There's a great example. Here our border, 10,000 people crossed in one day. The guy from Fox News, I can't think, Ducey, asked Kareem Jean-Pierre.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you call it when 10,000? Oh, she couldn't answer that question. So she just absolutely found any excuse she could to totally pass over him, because there is no answer for that question.
I'm glad you brought that up. Isn't that that's part of the characterization of the Democrat Party I was just talking about? They know better than you. She was dismissive and shut him down. He's on the press corps, for God's sake. He had a right to finish his sentence in his question. Do you remember it was only 4 years ago, the way Jim Acosta treated Donald Trump? Not only did he grab the mic and demand harassing questions riveted at Trump, Trump demanded he sit down for being so abusive, and he, before the press corps, wouldn't comply with Trump's request to sit back down. Trump answered every question Acosta asked. He just didn't like the answer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He didn't like the answer, and he wanted to try to bait him to say something that he didn't want to say.
There you go. No, if the American people, it's on us, folks. If the American people don't see the difference between this Democrat liberal left and how it's infected the media alone, there's other channels they've infected, education to be specific. But if they don't see what's happened to the media alone, then we get what we deserve.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We get exactly what we deserve. So, having made a trip to Washington last week and getting an opportunity to kind of see that in motion, I'll tell you, I just don't have a lot of hope for short term for anything good happening. There is such a stronghold in Washington and Donald Trump described it, we'll call it the swamp, but what it is the permanent Washington establishment that is absolutely in charge. They do not care what you think. They don't care about voters. Congress has allowed for many, many years now, for probably most of our adult lifetime, they have allowed these agencies to run the place, and they just go to the dinners and take campaign contributions. And I'll tell you something else. We had a president that warned us of this military-industrial complex.
He did.
They are strong, and they will do whatever it takes to stop any kind of pushback against that. They want a permanent war somewhere in the world all the time because that's how they make their living. And we got to stop this.
You know, Texas had the Alamo not too long ago, and America today has the Mexican border. And if the folks out there don't know what the Alamo is, then your history school teacher didn't give you the full story in history class. Because what we are experiencing is America having to step up and defend its rights and its liberties and its freedoms. And we've got 175,000 Mexicans that are employed now by Mexican cartels. Do you know that the Mexican cartel system in Mexico is the 5th largest employer in Mexico of people?
What?
Yeah, Michael. It's the 5th largest employer.
That is unbelievable. And of course, they venture into the United States all the time. You know, they actually send their cartel members into the interior of the United States. Sometimes they go and take out people.
Yeah.
They actually do this.
Yeah.
And we're standing back, sending millions, billions of dollars to fight. And I understand what some of the reasons are why it's so important for us to maintain sort of order in the Asian hemisphere. But let me just tell you, we got to maintain order here too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of WMXI with Gene Valentino and Michael Pohl. Unfortunately, the internet connection with Michael Pohl and Gene disconnected while we were recording. So please enjoy other episodes of the Grassroots Truthcast, WMXI, or America Beyond the Noise, all in one convenient location, GeneValentino.com. Have a great rest of the day. God bless America, and we'll see you in the next episode.